Guys, someone commented a couple of videos ago that all my videos are back to front, and I'm sorry about that. I do them all on my phone or my Nexus, and they just seem to make things back to front, and when I upload them to YouTube, there's not an option to mirror, is there? Maybe I'll check. Maybe there is. I'll have a look. Anyway, today I want to talk to you. It's also really stinking hot here today, so I'm sorry about everything that I say or do that's weird. I want to talk to you guys about, it's a book by Lane Smith. It's one of the ones in module 2 for ESH 151, Choosing Children's Literature. And there's been a lot of criticism about it on the discussion blogs. Initially everyone seemed to love it, and then they read it a second time and were like, no, it's condescending and rude, and why would you? And anyway, I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to talk about some things about it. So I'm hoping this video doesn't go too long. But yeah, anyway, it's called It's a Book by Lane Smith. And disclaimer, I love it. So, it's a mouse, it's a jackass, it's a monkey who is just trying to read his book. What have you got there? It's a book. How do you scroll down? I don't. I turn the pages. It's a book. Do you blog with it? No. It's a book. Where's your mouse? Can you make the characters fight? No. Book. Can it text? No. Tweet? No. Wi-Fi? No. Can it do this? Toot. No. It's a book. Look. "Arr," nodded Long John Silver, "we're in agreement then." He unsheathed his broad cutlass, laughing a maniacal laugh. "Ha, ha, ha!" Jim was petrified. The end was upon him. Then, in the distance, a ship. A wide smile played across the lad's face. Too many letters. I'll fix it. Oop. OJS. K, lol. Jim. That is the picture of an unimpressed monkey. So, what else can this book do? Does it need a password? No. Need a screen name? No. It's a book. Are you going to give it back? Nope. Fine. I'm going to go to the library. Don't worry, I'll charge it up when I'm done. You don't have to. It's a book, jackass. Okay, one of the big criticisms of the book is obviously the use of the word jackass. Lane Smith did a bit of research and found that other books had used jackass, and so he used it too. And it really is, I think, a great line-up for the pun at the end. But also, when I'm sitting there reading a book, I don't want to be interrupted, and anyone who does is a bit of a jackass in my opinion, so I kind of see the parallels there. Another thing that gets criticised is that it's seen as dumbing down or condescending. One particular lady on the discussion boards read it to her kids, and they were like, we know what a book is, we're not stupid. And I can definitely see how you might come across that way, but for me, I think the way that you read it is different, in different ways, and I don't think the monkey's going, no, it's a book, see? It doesn't have anything, it's just pages, it's a book. I really see the monkey as going, piss off and let me read my damn book. And And I think as well, it's a really interesting text in the sense of, we are entering this digital world, and, e-readers are everywhere. One of the things I was most disgruntled to find out is, the first bookless library's been opened in Texas. Parents are buying their kids e-readers because they need a screen to read. They can't actually read off a book. They can't do it, but they have a screen that they're motivated to do it. And that's just seems ridiculous to me. And so I think that there's that knowledge of it's a bit different. It's something that is new. And, I can see how kids could grow up never having a book, which blows my mind. And getting to school and being like, hey, what's this thing? As well, I don't necessarily see the characters as one younger and one older so much as I see them as having very different backgrounds. And so I like the fact that they are different animals in that sense. And, I think the fact that they are animals is really interesting, and the fact that they're not people, when it's clearly a people activity and a people problem. And I think they ask really interesting questions, does it have Wi-Fi, does it tweet? I don't think that those things are going to change in the future, so I think that's really interesting too. And another criticism is that they've chosen a really classical text in Treasure Island, and I actually really like it that they've done that, because the language is really interesting and it's a really great book. Treasure Island got me reading. It's thick, it's heavy, it takes work, but I think that they're the most rewarding books too, and I can see why that's captivated the Jackass in that sense. Like, yeah, there are too many words to start with and it blows your mind, but then you start reading it and then you're stuck and you're reading this book and it just takes you away and transports you to a magical land and you don't want to give it back. And I think that's really special. I'm sorry I am talking fast, but I am just aware of the time, and I hope that you can understand me. I do talk too fast sometimes. I think that there's a really clear reason it was included in the Module 2 text, because Module 1 is, 5 to 8 year olds, and Module 2 is more centered around grade 5 and 6, so you're looking at that more 10 to 12 sort of age group. And I think that this book fits in really well here, because they're at that age they can get a lot of the humour in it, and they can think it's funny and it's really overt, but it's not too rude or anything like that. And I think the argument that Jackass is too rude sort of comes back to that idea that we dumb down a lot of children's literature. Like, I read Let's Count Goats, and I was just like, this is the most piece of crap book. I'm not into this. How is a kid going to be into this? And I'm sorry, when it comes to sharing literature, you've got to share books that you love, because if you love them, that passion is catching and can go places. In fact, one of my big ideas for this book is having the library for the Jackass. Clearly he's new to books, so what books could we recommend that you just can't put down? They're totally captivating you. And I think that shares that idea, and so we can share books that we love and build up a really good library of sharing and literature in that sort of sense. And I think that's a really cool opportunity that this book does provide. But yeah, I get the criticisms. I get that it can seem too harsh or whatever. It's not for small kids, and I think that that's really clear, even though it probably could be. It is a book for older kids, but I think it's still for kids. Like, it's still got a bit of silliness in it. It's still got a bit of that satirical humour that is so prevalent in our world today as well. Like, why wouldn't we include it? Why do we have to treat kids like they're idiots or like they're dumbed down? And yes, there's this appropriate age group thing and this progression, and I do understand this, and I don't have kids, and so my ideas are often critiqued from that point of view, which really bothers me, because I don't have kids. You clearly don't know. I'm like, well, no, I don't have kids, but tell me why. Explain to me. Like, let me put that on that level. But yeah, I think that I would read this to a 10-year-old. Probably not my niece, because she's been way too sheltered. It's not like to watch Disney movies. But yeah, I think I would read it to a grade 5, 6 class. And I think that I'd do the voices, and I think that we would discuss the imagery. Like, the monkey doesn't have a lot of facial features, but we can see how his face changes a lot through the book. And I think that that's really interesting. The placement of eyes and eyebrows, and we can see his frustration and as we go through, and I think that's really interesting, and I really enjoyed that. Anyway, I'm going to go because it is almost 10 minutes, and that was my limit in my head. So bye guys. I would love to hear what you think about this book, and if you have any other thoughts, please let me know below in the comments.